Thank you all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and call this session of the City of Ocean Shores Hearing Examiner to order. For the record, today is March 4th, 2025 at 10 a.m. We have one item on the agenda today, number CUP 25-000001, a request for approval of a conditional use permit or CUP to allow for the development of a healthcare clinic in the retail commercial zone within an existing building located at 171 East Chance Alamir Northeast. My name is Peregrine Sorter. I'm a hearing examiner with Laminar Law, whom the city has selected to hold certain land use hearings like this one. And it's going to be my role today to collect evidence in the form of exhibits and testimony to determine whether the proposal complies with the city comprehensive plan, zoning ordinances, and the specific criteria for approval of a CUP. To that end, I received and reviewed several exhibits in advance of this hearing. This would include the staff report prepared by city staff, the application and project plans, information related to the property, information related to the environmental review of the proposal, and various notice materials. So I will go ahead and admit those exhibits into the record at this time. Should anyone have any additional exhibits they would like admitted into the record, just please let me know when it's your opportunity to testify, and I will go ahead and address admitting additional exhibits at that time. Speaking of testimony, all testimony today will be under oath or affirmation because were my decision to be appealed, the recording of today's hearing, along with the admitted exhibits and my written decision, would serve as the foundation for any such appeal. I may ask questions of those who are testifying today. I just want to ensure that I have a clear understanding of the proposal so that after the record closes, I am able to produce a decision that is hopefully clear and legally defensible. The order that we typically follow, and I believe we will be following today, is first we'll hear from city staff, who will provide an overview of the proposal along with any recommendations that the city may have. Following that, we'll hear from the applicant and see if there's any additional information they feel that myself or members of the public should be aware of in advance of my decision being issued. After that, members of the public will have an opportunity to testify. And finally, following any public testimony, I will turn back to the applicant and the city as necessary for any response. So with that, I think we can get started. And who do we have presenting on behalf of the city today?
I will be presenting, Your Honor.
Great, Mr. Reed, let's go ahead and get you sworn in. If you can raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Thank you. And can you just go ahead and spell your name for the record and explain your role with the city?
Yeah, my name is Marshall Reed, first name spelled M-A-R-S-H-A-L-L, last name Reed, R-E-A-D, and I serve as the lead planner in these matters before the city.
Great. And did my summary of the exhibits track with what you were hoping I'd review in advance of this hearing?
Yes, they did.
Great. So, Mr. Reed, you can begin your presentation whenever you're ready. And for those on Zoom, if you can just go ahead and mute. At this time, I'm hearing some noise there. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Reed.
Okay, good morning. So this is a staff report presenting a conditional use permit application for the Harbor Regional Health Ocean Shores Healthcare Clinic. This application was submitted on February 21st, 2025, and the purpose is the application for a conditional use of developing a healthcare clinic, which is defined in Ocean Shores Municipal Code 1750-040 as a public or semi-public use. The applicant is Harbor Regional Health. The project description name is Harbor Regional Healthcare Ocean Shores Healthcare Clinic, located at 171 East Chance, Northeast in Ocean Shores. There's a long legal description, Division 7A, less the south 80 feet of the west 200, less north 85 feet of 165 feet of the west 200, less lot 3 of short subdivision, recorded on volume 4, page 144. And this is a replat of Division 7, Tract A. This is a redevelopment of approximately 960 square feet of area, consisting of 23,680 square feet. The existing conditions, this is a correction to the staff report. I had typed in R1 retail commercial. That should have been B1 retail commercial. Is the existing zoning, the existing land use. This project is located in what's called the Gateway Corridor. The surrounding conditions, all surrounding properties are zoned either B1 or R1. To the north, we have a B1 retail commercial zone property. To the south, an R1 single family. To the east, B1 retail commercial, and to the west, B1 retail commercial. The land use designation from the Ocean Shores Comprehensive Plan: to the north, we have service professional and office. To the south, single family. To the east, Gateway Corridor, and to the west, Gateway Corridor. The existing land uses surrounding the proposal. To the north, we have multifamily developed. To the south, single family residential developed. To the east, retail commercial is the U.S. Post Office, and to the west, retail commercial, we have a drug and grocery store. The background on this property: the property is located in the northeast quadrant of Ocean Shores in a multi-use division surrounded by a mixture of residential, single-family occupancy uses, multifamily uses, retail commercial uses, and undeveloped lots. The building where the clinic is proposed was formerly the location of Ace Hardware and a state liquor store and other retail commercial businesses. In the Ocean Shores Municipal Code 1734-030A B1 zone, it is designated a conditional use for the development of a public or semi-public use as defined in Ocean Shores Municipal Code 1750-040. Clinics are in the definition of a public or semi-public uses. Notices for this hearing for the application of a conditional use permit for CUP25-000001, the Harbor Regional Health Ocean Shores Healthcare Clinic, scheduled for Tuesday, March 4th at 10 o'clock, were sent to owners within 300 feet of the subject property on February 21st, 2025, as required by Ocean Shores Municipal Code 1752-090. Hearing information was also provided on the City of Ocean Shores website, and attached are copies of the notice of public hearing and mailing list. Notice of the public hearing was provided to the Daily World newspaper for publication in the February 15th and the February 18th editions. Staff has determined that this development project is listed as a conditional use for this zoning district in Ocean Shores Municipal Code 1724. Conditional uses 1734-030A, public and semi-public uses as provided for in 1750-040. The subject property is located in a B1 zone, and clinics are permitted in this zone with the approval of a conditional use permit. The standard of review is 1752-050. The criteria for consideration of a conditional use permit: before any conditional use permit is granted, the hearing examiner must determine the following: the use applied for is either listed in the conditional uses, allowed for in the district, or that it is significantly similar to one or more of the listed uses. Approval of the permit would be substantially consistent with the purpose of the district and applicable provisions of the comprehensive plan, and would not adversely affect other uses and properties in the immediate vicinity. Granting the permit would not reduce the dimensional requirements of the district. And D, the last part of that code, is no nuisance to life, limb, or property would develop. The use applied for is not specifically listed in the conditional uses allowed in the district, but identified in the definition of public or semi-public uses. The following uses may be allowed in the B1 zone under section 1734-030 upon approval of a conditional use permit in accordance with the provisions of 1752-040 through 1752-080. So I'm just going to read A from this code: public and semi-public uses as provided for in 1750-040. Because the proposed clinic is defined as a public or semi-public use, it falls within the allowed conditional uses of 1734-030A. This district is intended for retail commercial uses, providing day-to-day goods and services. Financial, professional, personal, and commercial services are intended for this district, as well as mercantile, lodging, food, and other common goods and services. All uses and structures are to be of good appearance, well-designed, and free of hazards and nuisances or other unattractive attributes. The 2020 comprehensive land use map identifies the district as high density and as follows. The description is the Gateway Corridor. The Gateway Corridor applies along Point Brown Avenue between State Route 115 to Albatross and along the adjacent side streets. Generally, more intense commercial uses and larger structures should be located near the street edge, with less intensive uses and smaller structures farther from the street to transition to zoning designations nearby. Opportunities to live, work, and shop and recreate will be located within walking distance of these areas. Typical uses in the Gateway Corridor would include commercial developments, retail, service, office, restaurant, hotels, motels, residential mixed use associated with retail or office development, assembly structures for indoor and outdoor spaces, government facilities, financial businesses, and recreational. A review of this as it would pertain to the parking requirements in the city code. 1754-060, the parking for the proposed site would be provided via shared parking use of the entire retail space. Paved parking was installed as a part of the original development and will provide an excess of what would be required to service the clinic proposal as required by the off-street parking requirements in 1754, the Ocean Shores Code. This project has approximately 30 to 35 people as an occupancy load maximum, and the total number of spaces available immediately adjacent to this proposal is 34. There are more available in the site, with typically one space required per employee and one space for every two other occupants. We have an abundance of parking surrounding the proposal. Conditions for this project, in addition to any conditions imposed by the hearing examiner, construction must meet all current building construction, fire, and healthcare or health code requirements. Adequate parking should be provided per Ocean Shores Municipal Code 1754-060, and the city would recommend compliance with any recommendations or requirements from agencies responding to the SEPA checklist submittal. And for today's record, the SEPA checklist submittal was turned in with the 14th day ending tomorrow. So I would ask that Your Honor leave the record open until we had any responses from that SEPA checklist. And that'll conclude my report.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. I was going to bring that up with the MDNS was issued on the 19th. So yeah, I do believe the comment and appeal period is technically tomorrow. Have you received any comments up until the start of this hearing?
I have not.
Okay, so yeah, I will leave the record open tomorrow, and just please let me know if the city receives any comments. Let's see. My understanding is that this project, it just includes an interior remodel of the previous retail commercial space. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
There's no exterior renovations proposed?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So then there would be no visual impacts since it's just an interior remodel. And you mentioned that city staff had determined that the existing off-street parking would be adequate to serve this proposed use.
Yeah, it's a very large complex with more than adequate parking for all the uses that are currently located there.
And then in all other respects, the proposed use would not have, in the city's view, would not have any other impacts in excess of the previous use of the property, such as traffic, stormwater,
No,
etc.
not that we're aware of. The only
Okay.
impacts that we expect are going to be positive impacts.
And then I just want to be clear, the proposed clinic space, that would be 1,960 square feet in size, is that correct? I think you said 960. I just want to be,
Oh, no, 1,960. That would be correct.
and the overall building space is the 23,680.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay, great. And then can you just briefly describe are there any other current uses within this building and vicinity, or is it vacant? I just want to kind of get an idea.
Yeah, if it would be okay, I'd like to pass that to our city administrator. He's a little more familiar with the other uses in the building and has been more intimate with that project. So if I could turn that question to him.
Sure, let's go ahead and do that. If you can raise your right hand. Do
Mhm.
you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Great. And can you state and spell your name for the record and explain your role?
Scott Anderson, and that's SCOTT, and then ANDERSEN, and I am the city administrator for the city of Ocean Shores.
Great. Thank you for being here.
And
And
there
then,
are, oh, please.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
With regard to the structure itself, it is the largest probably parking space in all of Ocean Shores. So that is something that's a real positive for that. There are two businesses that are currently located inside that same complex. Most of the complex remains closed, but the two businesses are a ship and print that is available there, where people can drop off UPS, FedEx packages, and do other items associated with that type of business. And then there is a small art gallery as well, which is adjacent to us. And then across the street, there is a large pharmacy, which even makes it more of an adequate location for our clinic, as is the One Ocean Shores Pharmacy that exists in town.
So that it would appear to me, yeah, that this proposed use would be compatible with at least that pharmacy use. And would you say that city staff determined that this use would be compatible with the other uses in the vicinity and zone?
Absolutely.
Great. And then I don't think I have any additional questions for the city. Mr. Anderson, if you wanted to provide any other comments at this time, you're free to do so.
I'll let the rest of our staff do that. We have the mayor with us, Mayor Eldwin. We have our fire chief, and he will be making comments about the importance of public safety and how it relates to that. And then we have our planning and our project manager, Becky Leach.
Sure. Who would like to start?
I'll go ahead.
Let's go ahead and get you sworn in. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Great. And if you could just state and spell your name for the record and explain your role.
Yeah, my first name is Frank. The second name is Elduin, and it's spelled Elduen. And I'm mayor here at Ocean Shores.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Mayor. You can go ahead and provide any comments on this proposal that you'd like.
All right, thank you. This is a huge opportunity for the citizens here at Ocean Shores. They've wanted a walk-in clinic for 30 years. And this situation has come up for us to be able to move forward, hopefully, with this project. And it would cater to many, many people here. We have one small medical facility here in town. They don't do walk-in clinics, and they're right now a 3-month wait for an appointment. So this would be a huge thing for everybody here in town on that. A lot of people have requested this for many years, and we partnered with the hospital on this. They're going to come in and they're going to actually staff and run this. We're going to help provide a space for this opportunity. And we're excited to give the public something that they've been asked for a long time. So I'd like our fire department to talk on some of the advantages for the city. So
sure, let's go ahead and get you sworn in. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Great. And if you could just again state and spell your name for the record and explain your role.
Sure. Brian Ritter, BrianRitter, and I am the fire chief for the city of Ocean Shores. And like the mayor mentioned, this walk-in clinic has been a long time coming. We do have a facility in town, like he stated. The problem with that is just, for example, just this morning, a patient was told to come over to the fire department for an emergency, and they just needed antibiotics. That is outside of our scope at the fire department. You know, they would need an evaluation by a physician just to get some antibiotics. Not to mention the COVID that we had. the ability to get vaccinations, the fact that multiple hospitals in our area are going on divert daily just because of the flu. We're ending up having to transport people to the hospital that could benefit from a simple evaluation at a walk-in clinic by a mid-level provider or an MD to get the things that they need. When our average population is 65 and older, and we live basically on an island out here, it takes a minimum of 30 minutes to get to the hospital. That's depending on where we are in town. Not to mention it takes our EMS service out of service for just a basic call where we're out of the city for 2 hours. And so we've been caught in situations where we've had working structure fires while we've been out of town on what could have been handled by a mid-level provider. I'm super excited about the possibility of this coming to fruition just due to the fact that these people in our community have needed it for so long. Not to mention we have a large tourist population during the summertime that could also benefit from the modalities that they might be able to provide at the walk-in clinic. Other than that, it's just my biggest concern is the accessibility of medical care for our community is extremely frustrating. People that just need minor medications or they just need maybe some lab work or they need to get a prescription refilled. I mean, it's a nightmare for the people that live in our city. And I do believe it's a long time coming. And I really hope and pray that this comes to fruition, not only for the community, but for the fire department as well, to help take the load off of our staff that are working 24/7, 365.
Well, thank you for providing your testimony today. Were there other members of city staff that wanted to provide testimony?
Yep, I will.
Oh, I can't quite hear you. Sorry.
I will. My name is Becky Leach. I'm the project manager for the city.
Oh, great. Let's go ahead and get you sworn in. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
And can you just spell your name for the record?
Sure. It is Becky. Last name is Leach.
Thank you. You can go ahead and provide any comments that you'd like.
Sure. So I just want to say that I feel extremely lucky to be working on this project, and that we've been told at the city for a lot of years that the project of a clinic was not possible, something that couldn't be done. And this is the kind of a project where kind of all of the chips fell into place at the right time. The fact that we have a lease, the building, and the partnership with the hospital, we're very lucky that this is all coming to fruition. And thank you to Mayor Eldwin for pushing this through and really making this happen, and hoping that this is going to be able to continue forward. As Brian said, it's really hard on our first responders, and our aging population definitely needs this. And I know that I am not super happy about going to Seattle to do my blood work all of the time. And also our younger population. This is a clinic that is needed for our younger population as well. So just looking forward to this project.
Great. And did you have any issues with the recommendations, the condition recommendations that were provided with the staff report?
Nope, no issues with that.
Great. Well, thank you for being here. Do we have anyone else from the city that wanted to testify in this matter before we turn to members of the public? Mr. Mayor?
I just wanted to say one more thing, that our population is growing and we're getting close to 8,000 people here in town. And our permit department is getting bombarded by more and more houses. People are retiring, people can work from home. We're getting a real large influx of citizens here. And so it just makes this clinic all that much more important. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Mr. Reed, were there any members of the public in the room that wanted to testify in this matter?
Well, let's find out. Does anybody in the room want to provide testimony in here? Let's start over here, and we will get you a microphone. There you go.
Do I need to do this?
Yes, good morning. Thank you for being here.
My name is not,
Oh,
my name is,
let's get you sworn in and then you can provide your name. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
yes, I do, and I will not use profanity.
Oh, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you could spell your name for the record, that would be great.
It's Georgette, but everybody calls me Nani, and my last name is Bacon, like Kevin Bacon. I don't have his money.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Bacon. You can provide any comments that you would like now.
Yeah, in regards to our fire department, they're kind of like busy because of taking care of issues in the community, like fires and stuff like that. And then individuals like me who fall down because a lot of us have vertigo issues. And if we tie them up doing medical stuff, they won't be able to do their job, outside. And also, I was a recipient to this wonderful influenza A, and it's a virus that is contagious. And when the fire people come into our homes, if we have it, we can give it to them, and which will curtail them even more from doing their job. We really, really have been fighting for this for a long time to get an urgent care system in our city. I have been sort of going over and trying to twist my doctor's arms, who's been training the ARNPs over at the hospital. And he says it's possible. He started the one in Westport, and he's just been waiting to come here to do what he's got to do, and trying to draft me to work in there too. But I really, really hope that you would approve this and help us, because I don't intend leaving. I would like to stay here for a while. So thank you very much for whatever help you can do.
Great. Thank you for being here, Ms. Bacon. Anybody else in the room that would like to testify? Now's your opportunity.
Okay, let's go ahead and in the back there, and I'll just work my way through that section of the room and then come over and pick you guys up on the other side.
Hi, good morning.
Hello. Good morning. If you can raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Well, thank you for being here. If you can state your name and spell your name for the record.
It is Dennis, Dennis Rudolph, Rudolph.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Rudolph. You can provide any comments that you'd like.
Yes, I want to make a comment. I'm trying to not get emotional, but with my brother, a few months ago, had passed away, and he had fallen so many times and gotten up. And I've called the paramedics sometimes 3 or 4 days in a row, exact same day, because he kept on falling and falling and falling. And one day he fell and he was really in bad shape. So I called the EMTs and the fire department again, and they finally showed up. I just called them the day before, and they were really quick that day. But the next day they were a little slower, but they were still very quick. And he had died on my living room floor, and they brought him back to life, but the damage had been done for so long. He'd been laying there for so long. And 2 fire department employees had told me, says, we had either 2 or 3 other non-emergency phone calls they were on. And so once they go to those homes, they can't just leave and come to my house. So they had to wait to take care of those phone calls. And then he finally got to me. They says, if they would have got there sooner, he would have lived a lot longer. It was nothing the fire department did. They were very efficient, very quick, and they did the best they could. But because they had 2 non-emergency phone calls they had to deal with, they could not get to my brother soon enough. And then we went to the hospital and finally did pass away. A medical clinic would take the pressure off the fire department so that they could do their job other places and do the emergency calls. That's my take on it. It would have helped my brother live a little longer. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss, Mr. Rudolph. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yes.
We have a couple more here in the audience that would like to testify, Your Honor.
Great. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Thank you. And if you can state and spell your name.
Nancy, Nancy Milliman, Milliman.
Thank you, Ms. Milliman. You can go ahead.
Okay. Well, most of what I have to say, people have pretty much expressed. I know you don't know the history here, but this walk-in clinic has been a project with many years in the making. And many people who are here today have been involved for a minimum of 3+ years in the effort to help this become a reality. And so many efforts just came to a dead end. It was very frustrating for everybody involved. And then last June, we had a wonderful turnout at our town hall, and it was regarding the same subject. And the citizens all very much overwhelmingly supported this concept and were very involved in asking questions, asking about the costs and all of the hurdles. Mayor Elduin's persistence to speak with the hospital CEO, Tom Jensen, really did prove successful with providing the support of our hospital district. In addition, we have the remaining ARPA funds to launch the walk-in clinic and the clear support of Harbor Regional Health. And plus that, our Fire Chief Ritter, has been very vocal and supportive of this clinic and has stated that he foresees a very positive impact that would lessen the number of emergency runs into Aberdeen and beyond, especially now with all of the bugs, and they're going back to diverting again. And I think for the first time, our city has all of their ducks in a row with the support of Harbor Regional Health, the funding, and the support of our fire department. So please, let's move forward and serve our residents and visitors as our city grows. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you for being here. Good morning. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Thank you. And if you could just go ahead and state and spell your name for the record.
Michael Avolio, A, V as in Victor, Olio.
Thank you. You can go ahead and provide any comments that you'd like.
Sure, thank you. As what has already been said, this clinic for decades have wanted a walk-in clinic, and it's always fallen on deaf ears. Since I've been here, I've been living underneath 3 administrations. The previous 2 wouldn't even talk to you about this possibility. And then we got Mayor Elduin here that listened and moved forward with the idea and the concept to, bring it to fruition. My case, but I know it applies to a lot of other people. We live in a retirement community here. A lot of us are on fixed incomes. My doctor's in McCleary, which is a 45-minute drive each way. And I'm tired of making that drive. I've wanted this clinic for a long time, so I don't have to spend so much time on the road every time I got to see my doctor. And with the state of Washington now talking about applying mileage tax to your vehicles, that's going to be a big harm to retirement people that have to drive so much distance all the time to get what they need. So having this clinic here is critically important for all of us, but with our growing population too. There's a lot of young kids here and living with families. And having a walk-in clinic is going to be servicing this community, and it's something we really need. That's all I got.
Thank you for being here.
Got one more in the room here. 2 more.
Good morning. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Thank you. And you can go ahead and state and spell your name for the record.
Rick, R-I-C-K, Beveridge, B-E-V-E-R-I-D-G-E.
Thank you, Mr. Every. Is that how you pronounce it?
Beveridge.
Beveridge. Okay.
Bevy Ridge, Beveridge.
Bevy Ridge.
Like
Thank
a
you.
beverage, like a beverage. I just wanted a recent personal story. This is about a veteran. My brother's a veteran. I'm his caretaker. He has Alzheimer's, he has AFib, he has diabetes. He's a frequent flyer with our fire department. They give him excellent coverage and they help him tremendously. He came down with the type A flu about 2 weeks ago, and he was having breathing difficulties, dry, raspy breath. And with his ailment, that was a concern. The VA, when they closed the office in Chehalis, which was an hour drive, they said, well, now you got to go to Tacoma. They finally came back with, no, we made CMAR your VA clinic. So I called CMAR because he's having problems breathing. Said, hang on, let me look. The guy comes back on the phone, goes, yeah, we can get you in mid-June. I said, well, you'll be dead by then. I think I'll move on. Thank you for the call, though. So I ended up on my way. I called the hospital. Their emergency room was full, and they said they had 16 to 18 people waiting in the room. So that means it's probably a 10 to 12-hour wait, probably, knowing the history there. Ended up driving all the way out to Elma, and they were 3 to 4 hours. Luckily, they had a newer clinic across the street, and I got him in and out in about 2 hours. But without that help, it would have been hard for him. He had to have medicines. And I mean, it ended up being mostly an all-day adventure where if there was a facility here in town, I could have taken him, got him immediately going on meds, and got him on the road to recover much quicker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, come on up.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jan Hyatt, Jan-Hiatt. I think what you've heard here is something that's been happening for many, many years, and all of a sudden we have it. You're sitting here listening to us, and we do appreciate this. Thank you. I hope also that you're hearing that there's nothing negative here. There's the city's for it, the planners are for it, the fire department, the residents are for it, the location of this hospital is for it. The location of the property is an excellent location, not on the main street, but convenient, plenty of parking both in the front. Residential homes are on the other side of the street, and I can't imagine that this would interfere with our residents anyway. So what we are hearing and we are telling you, and we have presented to you through the city people, is that there's nothing negative here. It is a positive thing to occur in the city of Ocean Shores. And hopefully you will consider all of these comments and records that you've been given and give us a positive yes real soon. We do need this. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have one more in the room here. Come on up.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Thank
My
you.
name is Lynn, Lynn, Budefeld, Buedfeldt. Why I decided to come up and speak is I've spent 38 years advocating for children as a school administrator. And what you don't see here are a whole bunch of parents in this community and kids that really, what I call low volume. They don't have a way to get here, to advocate for themselves. They really need help. And we do have a clinic in the school, but schools don't run all the time and during the summer. And the other part that you don't see that I've become aware of since I've lived here, I'm getting old, and joining a community where I'm watching people age and they feel like they're bothers. And I go to the home sometimes and they won't let me call the fire department because they don't want to bother them. Where if there was a clinic here and I could say, you know what, I'll put you in my car and I'll take you. They want to be here.
it'll make such a difference. So I really want to speak for the people that can't drive like I can. They don't know how to use a computer. They don't have a phone that, that they know how to hook up to and get support. And we have thousands of those people in the community here. So this has been really a good thing. We have a mayor that has really come in, and way before he was mayor, we were sitting around talking years ago about having medical care for kids and community. And I'm really impressed with how you listen. I've been in so many instances like this, and I've never had anyone that's done their homework like you. And I really appreciate the work you've done too. It makes a difference. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Do we
Thank
have
you. We got one
anybody
more
else
in
in
the
the
room
room?
here. Yeah, one
Okay.
more, Your Honor. Thank you.
Great. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Thank you. And if you can just
Deborah-
state and spell your name.
Sure. Deborah Bees, Debrabies.
Thank you.
First off, I want to thank you, Your Honor, for taking the time to listen to our city and someone finally hear our cries for help. We have heard no for at least 45 years that I'm aware of. And we're ready for a yes. And we're praying that you are that yes. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's all we've got in the room. Do we have anybody waiting online, Nicole, that would want to testify?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll start with Don Williams. And
Hi.
hi,
Yeah.
you don't have to turn your camera on if you don't want. I'll trust that you're holding up your right hand. Do you
Right hands up, and go ahead.
Great. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Great.
I'll be very brief. Everything that's been said is 100%, I agree with. This has been a need for many, many years. Many people have moved to Ocean Shores that I know of. I've lived in Ocean Shores almost 20 years, and many people that I know have moved here, but they just cannot stay because of the need for medical treatment, and they move away after 2 or 3 years. So this is a very positive thing there. The only thing I want to add is that this clinic does not just serve the 8,000 people in Ocean Shores. It will be serving the entire North Beach area, and I'm sure the city is going to do everything they can to make it known that this clinic is available. Just north of us, we have a community known as Seabrook. I believe they have nearly 600 residences full-time and several hundred available rentals. And that's just part of what the North Beach is. I'm assuming the population to be served is perhaps 3 times what the number you've heard so far. So I'm very much in favor of this. I think it'll be a success. The hours are being set up to serve both the community and our visitors on the weekend, which can get as high as 60,000 people in town and for one weekend. So I support everything, and I hope you'll come up with a favorable ruling. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. We'll turn it over to Ms. Connery. Nice to see you again. I think you've attended a hearing before, and you're on mute right now. Okay. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in testimony you give here today?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Thanks for the
Thank you.
And I would just like to say thank you to many of the people who are in the audience. Along with them, for many, many years, we were petitioning Harbor Regional Hospital to listen to us, and I haven't heard anybody say thank you to them today, so I would like to do that. All the stars aligned. We are where we are today, and I am grateful that Harbor Regional kept listening to us, and that when the time was right, that they joined in with this, and I'm delighted to see that this is moving forward. Having not heard anything to the contrary, I'm quite sure that your job will be easy today, Your Honor, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. And then it looks like we have one more person who's logged in, Lee Royce or Joyce. If you wanted to provide comments, you can go ahead and unmute at this time. And perhaps just here to observe. Okay, well, it looks like all the comments from members of the public were positive, but if city staff wants to provide any response to those comments, you can do so now.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank the members of the community coming out in support of this project. I think you guys have stated it very well. It's been a long time in coming. Thank you, Mayor Eldwin, and your counterparts at Harbor Regional Health. We look forward to, getting this project off the ground and moving forward for the community.
Great. Well, I don't get to say this often, but this project, it appears very straightforward to me, and I'm going to have no issue with issuing a decision approving the project with the recommendations that were provided by the city, provided nothing strange with SEPA happens the next day. So it is my intention to issue a decision approving this project within 10 working days of the record closing tomorrow. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn this hearing, and I hope everyone has a pleasant afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for attending today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.